Oh my God. I also hear that companies like Thor and maybe some others are changing their warranties in 2025. And is there any rumor? Is there any truth to those rumors, or what do you know?
Oh yeah, I saw a 2025 Thor warranty on a case just in the last week, and I read through it and I was amazed. I'm kind of used to RV companies changing their warranty with a little tweaker here and there and whatever else to try to cut off a little bit of what they can cut off their responsibility. This is a massive change. Thor has gone from a warranty that was just about like everybody else's to what I now think is the worst warranty in the business, simply because it makes so many changes that make it so much tougher. And the real thing about it is that one of the big changes they're putting in there will have a nationwide effect no matter where you buy your Thor.
Example. Tell me, I mean.
Oh, that's easy. For instance, it used to, in most states right now, if you have a problem with your RV, your obligation is to give them a chance to fix it. Their obligation is to get it fixed within a reasonable number of attempts or a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
Well, a few years ago, Indiana changed, and it became that you had to have at least 152 days in the shop during your warranty for warranty repair work, or else you had to have a same defect that would fail at least 3 times. So they made it a little tougher, especially that days out of service, because it has to be in the shop only for warranty covered work. Well, Thor's taken it one step farther with these new warranties. Now what they're doing is their warranty is subject to certain requirements, a whole bunch of them. One of them is you got to be able to prove that your RV had 3 repair failures on the same defect, and that the failure was caused by the same issue. You can have a problem that might be caused by 2 or 3 different component parts that put that together independently. Sometimes one will cause the problem to fail. Well, just one of those isn't good enough. You can have that failure occur 3 times, but if you have 3 different inputs and each one of them is causing it, guess what? You don't have 3 times for the same defect because you got 3 different causes. So they're taking it and making it harder, because it used to be, it was a matter of, did it work right? For instance, if your leveling system isn't working right, it doesn't matter whether it's the mechanics of the levelers, if it's the electronics, or if it's the hookups to the coach itself that's causing it. 3 different areas that you could have that cause that problem. Now, for it to be a, quote, defect for Thor under the law, it's all got to be caused by the exact same thing. And that's probably not going to happen as often as it is right now. And that's just the first one that jumps out. The 150 days in the shop, none of it counts unless you make an appointment. If you show up and you don't have an appointment and they work on it, guess what? That doesn't count. So it's as though the defect and the repair event never occurred at all. And worse than that, if Thor decides they're going to call something a goodwill repair instead of a warranty repair, that don't count either, even if it's all being done at the same time your warranty is in effect. In other words, you're letting the fox guard the hen house on what your legal rights are going to be. And that's just the beginning of what their changes are. They got all kinds of stuff set up. They've got days, deadlines for you to do certain things. And if you don't do it, you lose. If you want to complain, you now have to send it to a specific email address or you lose. And if you feel like you want to file a claim, you can't do that until you send a letter that has specific information in it by ordinary mail. And if you don't follow each step along the way and do each step within time along the way, you get thrown out of court. You lose. They don't have to do anything for you at all. And probably the worst part of it is, it used to be if you had a bad RV, a jury got to decide what they thought your damages were, what that was worth for you not having the RV you thought you were going to get, or having one that broke down all the time, having one that was out of service 150 days. That's 5 months out of your first year. Well, basically, if this passes, they're going to be able to say, 5 months is not long enough. If they had told you that when you bought it, would you have bought it? Probably not. But they've changed the damages on it too. Jury doesn't get to decide that the way they used to. Instead, when you send that last letter telling them that You're fed up and you're going to go to a lawyer or you're going to file a claim. Well, in your letter, you must now prove it. You have to prove your damages. You have to show a mathematical formula that you are using to create the amount of money that you say you have lost. And even when you give that, they then have the right to show that it is not independently verifiable. In other words, they're coming up, they're pulling out all the stops. They're coming up with everything they can to make sure that even if you have a bad lemon, you can't do a lot about it. It's absolutely the worst warranty I've ever seen in the RV industry or anywhere else.
It goes to show you how the goalposts are changing in the RV, and it's not just with RVs, it's with everything. Consumers end up getting the short end of the stick, and that's why it's so important to get an inspection. Don't take delivery until you know 100% that everything's functioning properly. Stay a night or two on the dealer's property if you can to, you know, put the thing through its paces and all that. But it reminds me, do you know what a gill net is? A gill net, I used to fish a lot. A gill net is against the law in the United States, but down in Mexico, they use gill nets to catch fish. I want you to picture this. This is a long net, 500 feet, 700 feet long, and it's a net like a tennis racket woven with little holes in it, little squares. So like a fence, but it's made out of nylon, like fishing line. It stretches across a cove or a little inlet in a lake or a stream. Its purpose is to catch the fish. Well, there's all different sizes. There's little bitty fish, there's great big fish, and everything in between. How do you catch those fish? Well, you stretch a gill net across, and you just want to catch a small fish. So you make little squares like this. And the small fish, they get stuck in it. And literally, this is how they do it. They get their gills stuck in it, and the bigger fish can't get in it because they're too big. So they catch all the little fish, and they pull the nets out, and they kill the little fish. Now we want the bigger fish. So they put a gill net in there with a little bit bigger until they catch all of them. And then when that doesn't work and there's still some big fish left, this is what they do. They string the gill net across the cove and they drop the water in the lake. So you are forced to go in the gill net. It is this progression of where the walls are closing in on RVers. I think it's, you know, we can look at it metaphorically and say the walls are closing in as Americans. And unless we have people like you that are standing up going, hello, we need to pay attention here, you're going to wake up one day and have your head caught in this gill net and you ain't going to get out.
Yeah, they not only are changing the goalposts, think about it this way, what the Thor warranty, the new Thor warranty for 2025 model years, what it's going to do, it changes the goalposts by making them skinnier, and they're stretching the football field. I mean, you know, what the heck is going on here? And then take a look at how much money Thor made. Do they really need that much more money by reducing their responsibility to their owners, their responsibility to the people who spend thousands of dollars to buy an RV? You know, the grandma and grandpa who finally retired and want to take the grandkids on a trip. And what do? It breaks down. And then if they take it in because they don't have an appointment, well, Thor gets to be able to say, well, that doesn't really count. You know, whose side is who on here?
Why are they doing this, Ron? Are they doing this? I mean, I know that we're just hypothecating here, but it would seem to me that they're doing this, moving the goalposts, adjusting the rules and things. It's a money-making move. It's not for the consumer. It's simply a money-making move. And it's almost like, I know they don't do this. I hope they don't do it. They're sitting back going, okay, now what can we do?
Oh, I think that's exactly what they did in this. I think that's exactly what they did. They thought to themselves, now what can we do to make it tougher for us to have to pay money to RV owners who get bad RVs? You know, some of them go out and get lawyers. What can we do to make the process tougher so that even when they get to the lawyer's going to have to say, well, I'm sorry, you didn't send that email. So all the rest of the stuff you did don't count. Or you didn't make an appointment when you broke down in Milwaukee and you lived in Georgia. I'm sorry, but that don't count. No, they're trying to make sure. And so they had to very carefully think. This warranty is written in such a way that I have no doubt that they didn't decide, okay, what's the best way to handle the problem? Unless the only problem they were thinking about was we're spending money paying for defects and people have a right to get back at us for that. So let's stop it.